you had something like, it was a 74 of 83 out of those, your main three guys.
Right.
You talked before the season about the volume that those guys are going to take. Is this still feeling natural to you when they have a disparity like this? It's been that way in some other games too.
Yeah, it's just depends on how somebody defends you. Obviously, they were switching everything, and so like when people switch everything, trying to schematically keep the ball in Braden's hand as much as possible, especially with his ability to go against a 5. So like when they switch that, now we want him just to be able to either take his shots or break people down and then make the right decision and then, play off of that. And I thought he did a pretty good job of that. But it all starts with how they choose to defend you. And then, being able to get shots from that. Like we struggled to rebound the basketball, but once we were able to get defensive rebounds, because they were sending everybody, you could see we could get out in transition there, but you can't get out in transition if you can't get a rebound, right? But no, the volume of shots there kind of, obviously we're going to put the ball in Trey's hands and in Braden's hands, and then be able to play off of that. We run some stuff for Flesh to try to get looks, and people are going to try to take those away and not let him get those clean looks from 3. But then just our ability to make decisions and pass the basketball is going to give those guys shots. I thought all of them got, shots, not a high volume, but like I thought Cam had some good looks, Miles had some good looks. And then, we missed some others, but we obviously made enough.
Matt Braden just said he feels bad taking 22 shots in a game. I guess kind of talk about maybe what the struggle is, trying to get him to understand you need him to shoot the ball that much, but he can also shoot that volume and distribute the way he did today.
Right, yeah, you can see the way they defended us. Like we've put the ball in his hands a lot, and so he's going to get a lot of chances to get assists. He's going to get a lot of opportunities to shoot the basketball, but really based on that. If they want to take him away and blitz him or double him or high hedge him, like he's got to get the ball out of his hands. He's got to move. Like he's not going to be in play to score as much there. But now they're behind that play when they do a thing. But he's wired to pass, and so like now this is really, really helping us and helping him, getting him to be aggressive when they put him in those kind of opportunities.
Was that stretch in the first half where you had a pretty unconventional lineup out there? I think you had all 3 freshmen out there at the same time, and I can't remember who else, but obviously not your best offensive lineup, but they were able to get some stops and get some turnovers.
Right.
And Caleb got an offensive rebound that led to a Braden 3. Can you just speak to that stretch of the game and how important that was to be able to cobble together productivity?
Right. Just trying to find in the first half. Obviously, Trey got a couple fouls, and we were up, I think 12, 13, 14 points in that range. And so we just kept him on the bench with 2 fouls because we had that lead. But I thought those guys did some good things. I thought Jakari did some good things for us. CJ did some good things for us. Raleigh went in there and battled, in the paint. But like, it's all those experiences for those guys, are going to help us and help them. But they're no different than anybody else. Like we got to do a better job of embracing the physicality of the game. When we did, we were able to get 50-50 balls and rebounds. When we didn't, they got them. Like I thought they were quicker to the basketball, especially on the glass all night.
Man, this is a weekend where around the country a lot of coaches think about the same question. Conference play now starts full steam. Are we where we want to be? Are you?
Yeah, we are if we win our next game. A lot of times coaches talk about it and they're just talking in theory. Can we win? We haven't won a road game. So I'm where I like where we are if we win our next game. And, we have to get some people on our team, really collectively, everybody in our team, to do a better job and be more physical. And we got too many people with their feet nailed to the ground. You got to hit somebody, then you got to go get the basketball and just be around the ball. Where we're having some fundamental breakdowns. I didn't think our defense was bad, but if you don't get more possessions than your opponent, you're not giving yourself a good chance. So tonight it was even, right? Where we got our advantage, not even, but it was close. They were up 8, and then we're up 6 from a turnover. So they had 2 more possessions than us, and we win by 20. But what's this look like, if we're even on the glass, right? And I think that's a big question for us going into Big Ten play because, you know, it's a very physical league. Things aren't called the same on the road, as we all know. And that's the questions we have to answer, not I have to answer. You know, we have to prepare our next couple days in practice and get ready to do a better job in that area.
Question I asked Trey, he said it's more of a coaching question than what I asked him.
I love that. Just pass the buck.
Right. Well, you know, your Big Three had 85-90% of your points tonight.
Yes.
Can you consistently win in the Big Ten under that situation?
Yes. If you don't turn the ball over and you rebound better. Yes. Yeah, it doesn't matter. A lot of people look at it like, you know, if you have a guy that averages 35 points, you know, everybody always like, if you shut him down, you shut that team down. When in reality, maybe so. But like 3 people, like that's a good core of 3 people. And when you switch everything, you know, they can do whatever they want, but they can't tell us who we can keep the ball with. And that was the problem, like in Auburn. Like, we kept getting the ball. Braden kept getting the ball to Trey in some really good spots, not to score, but to make a decision. So when you get those pocket passes and you get into 3-on-2s and 2-on-1s, you got to make a fundamentally sound play at that point. Now you got to put the ball in the basket, right? You know, you got to make your layups against elite size, or you got to make open shots right there. We didn't make that second good decision at that time, and we had to do a better job there. It's not the crux of the game, because the crux of the game is they were elite and they outplayed us. But yeah, that's something that's the furthest thing from my worries. I think a lot of people are going to go in and say, hey, we stop this guy, we stop a team, or we stop these 2 guys. Well, it's 3 guys. It's 60% of the people that's out there. Well, like, no shit. Like, who is it trying to stop the top 3 scorers in somebody else's team, right? Everybody's trying to do that. But I think we have some guys that didn't score tonight and didn't help us in that area that can make open shots and can make plays. They don't get the same volume of opportunities, and that's just the way it is on any team. But I think in the right scenarios, like, that they're going to make some shots there and really help us. But that's not the number one thing for any of those guys. And they're bringing what they bring to the value to our team. Their best thing is just like having a great attitude, competing, being physical, rebounding, like running our stuff. Like, just be engaged and be better in your role. And that goes for all of our players, not just, you know, a guy here or a guy there. But that's what we have to do if we're going to be good as a team in this league.
Matt, you used that phrase, not embracing the physicality of the game a few times. Trey was introducing the physicality to the game a few times tonight. Like, what, are you trying to use him as an example in any of these cases for other guys to like pick up off of that and more of that?
Not really. Like, it's more like the in between. Like, you know, you got to sprint in transition. You got to get deep post position because, you know, you hit them first. You got to get good rebound position because you hit them first. Sometimes defensively you get behind plays. And when you get behind a play and you don't have good rebound balance, you don't worry about boxing out. You got to go get it at that point. And so, like, we just have to have some guys around the ball better. You know, he's physical, but he also has to keep his balance. Like, when he's physical and he's balanced, he's a really good player. You know, and in everything that he does. When he loses that balance, when you see him fall over and do that, like sometimes, like, and he's playing a lot of minutes, right? But I think it's those are excuses. Like, you came to college to play a lot of minutes. You can never complain about playing a lot of minutes. It's what you want, right? You want that role, and he didn't have that role before. Now he does, and so, like, to be frank with you, like, he should get more than 6 rebounds. You know, but I think everybody should rebound better than they did. But that's the reason I keep saying collectively this is going to be on a team. If we play smaller, we just got to be small in our size. We can't be small in our fight. Like, our fight's got to be better than it was today.
Coach, we saw a couple times where Caleb was kind of switched out to a guard on the perimeter, and he was able to kind of stay in front and wasn't overmatched. Just how important is his defensive versatility for you guys?
Yeah, they made one of them on him, and that's what we kept telling him. Like, don't worry about, like, that's a tough 2. Like, don't worry about that. But yeah, that versatility helps you when you have a guy that can switch onto guards and allow you to do some different things. I thought he was great. Like, he, you know, made 2 free throws. That's all he scored. But, you know, like, look at his plus minus. Like, we're a much better team with him on the court. And he really gave us a lift, and we stayed with him more in that second half because we were a better team with him on the court tonight. And if you consistently do that, you're going to help yourself, you're going to help your team. But that's something that we need. And I thought our bench, did some really good things.
Sam and then Brian.
Matt, we know E doesn't stand for elephants. Riley now with 15 minutes, look like the stamina is much better. Are you getting to a point where you can rely on him for extended periods of time now?
Yeah, he's better there. He still has some issues with it. You can see after 3-4 minutes, he'll get that way, but he's better. He's got to react quicker. Like he's got a big body. He's got good athleticism when he has a head of steam. Sometimes when he's set, now he's got to work on that explosion to go get that basketball. And if you're not going to be able to get great position because you're in help, now you got to be able to go get it. So that's the one area where he's got to do better, finishing around the rim and rebounding the basketball for us. Because he helps us because he can stretch it out, he can make a shot, he can pass the ball, But yeah, it's valuable experience for him. But he's better. But like we need him to. For everyone that he got, and then there's ones that he was missing. But if he just does his work earlier, he's going to be in a better position.
That's one, Brian.
Great minds think alike here. Obviously, you can't stop the season, give Raleigh an off season, but what positive indicators are you seeing from him to lead you to believe he can develop through the course of the season into something a little bit more?
Probably the number one thing is just his attitude. Like he's got good energy about him, always ready to practice, always talking, always being positive. Competing, trying, putting in time. So all the indicators are there. He's got good physical ability. People have no idea how hard it is right away for guys to play and to be able to be productive right away. So he's, sometimes he doesn't play. Sometimes he plays 5 minutes, he plays 15 minutes, he plays 10, and he's kept a great attitude and he's kept getting better because he understands the big picture of things. But he needs more experiences. It's just hard sometimes.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you guys.